Okay, welcome again to our print production subject, right? So tapos na tayo sa day 1 ng CCV, day 1 ng bid prod. Ito naman yung sa print prod. Parang ang dami, no? So, unang first week pa lang, sawang-sawa na kaagad kayo sa pagbumuka ko. Okay? So, again, first 15 minutes ng klase, guys. Open your webcam para makita namin na nandiyan kayo. So, simple lang naman yung agenda natin for today. Okay? Pero crucial kasi based in this discussion will be your first graded activity. So, meron tayong so makinig kayo sa discussion kasi doon naka-base yung activity. Okay? So let me share my this is not a PowerPoint but an infographics. Okay? So this is about so here morphing into a 21st century teacher. There are 27 ways. Okay, so very simple. We'll just have to discuss all these 27 ways. And again, related dito yung magiging activity nyo. So yun lang. Very straightforward agenda, di ba? So in today's session, we'll discuss the 27 ways on how to become a 21st century teacher. So yun lang. So let's start with think. Okay, so think beyond your classroom or your subject matter. So what does this mean? I will explain this in a form of an example. Okay. So when I was in grade 7, my math teacher, okay, after our periodical exam, hindi siya nag-lesson. Nagbigay siya ng some sort of a riddle. Now, sabi niya, ang makasagot daw sa riddle niya na yun, +5 direct sa card. Seryoso siya. Pinakita niya yung may class record siya. Sabi niya, ang makasagot nito, +5 direct sa card. Sa first grading. So, yun, sinabi niya. Sabi niya, paano mo pagkakasyahin yung 500 tao sa isang typical size classroom? So, ganun lang. Yun lang yung tanong niya. Walang trick, um, it's not a trick question, it's not a play on words, it's a straightforward question. Paano mo pagkakasyahin yung 500 tao sa typical size classroom? Yun, ganun lang. Ang makasagot, plus 5 direct part. So what do you think is the answer to that question? 500 people pagkakasyahin mo sa typical size classroom. So probably around mga 50 square meter na classroom size. Yung 500 tao na yun. So paano? Anyone? Go, mag-isip kayo. Go, Madeline.
Sir, try ko lang po. I think magkakasya po siya if ever tatanggalin po lahat ng mga upuan and parang naka-Indian seat po lahat sa sahig at tabi-tabi po ganun.
Okay, another premise of that is there should be no inconvenience in the part of those 500 people. Okay? Seamless silang mabubuhay dun sa area na yon. So, pag naka-Indian seat, merong inconvenience sa part nila. That walang ganun. Yes, Sophia?
Pwede pong virtual class or pwede rin pong i-hati-hati shifting.
Hindi. Doon sila titira talaga. It's not virtual, it's physical. So, come on. Ang makasagot, exempted. Yes, Jamay.
Sir, kung lahat sila nakatayo.
Pwede, it will violate one of the premise na walang inconvenience sa part nila. Diba? Guys, Sophia again.
Sorry ka po ulit. By shifting po or by schedule?
It will still violate the premise. Pag inaanto ka na, hindi mo pa schedule, huwag ka muna matulog. Di ba? Come on, think. Paano mo pagkakasyahin yung 500 tao sa typical size classroom? Okay, Madeline again.
Sir, pwede po ba like mag-renovate ng, halimbawa, like i-half yung classroom, like mag-elevate. Parang merong nasa lower part, merong nasa upper part, ganun. Parang magkakaroon ng bunker, kumbaga, yung classroom. So that,
Okay.
parang yung iba sa taas, yung iba sa baba.
Okay, so actually sabi ko nga, it's not play on words, it's a straightforward answer. And yung word na hinanap ko is, yun, nasabi mo naman siya, yung i-elevate and i-renovate. So, lagyan ng another layer. So, it's like, gawan siya ng second floor or gawan siya ng another layer. So, yun, actually, that's the answer, Madeline. So, you got it. Okay, so yun lang ang sagot doon. Okay. So, it's a practical riddle na kung paano pagkakasya. So, yun lang. Lagyan mo siya ng another layer. So, yeah, that's the answer. Okay? So, yan. Ganun yung gagawin para pagkasya yung 5 tao. Then, of course, yun yung ginawa ng math teacher ko. So, yun. Pa-riddle lang siya sa amin. Hindi siya nag-klase. Kasi nga, just imagine the burden of the students na kapag may galing mo lang sa periodical exam tapos magle-lesson ka agad. So, think beyond your classroom and your subject matter. So, that's how you become a 21st century teacher. Okay? Next, include the world in your lesson. So, Skype with the class. So, we already reached the technological level where we can interact with our counterpart probably sa Southeast Asia muna. So siguro naman may bitilet ICT din sa Malaysia, sa Indonesia, Singapore. So we can include them and create a benchmark. Okay, so College of Education there in Chiang Mai University in Thailand. Ano yung pinagkakaabalahan nyo? So yun, we can do a benchmark with them to see if synchronize yung mga pinag-uusapan nila sa mga pinag-uusapan natin. Yun. We can do that, include. Next is look for ways to get involved with the community. Ito, lahat ng mga organization, schools, universities, lahat ng company, meron silang program to give back to the community. Napapansin nyo ba yun? So for example, yung Jollibee, di ba? Meron silang parang school supplies giving activity. Yung GMA, of course, meron silang Kapusong Totoo, yung to give back to the community. So as a 21st century teacher, we should start doing it inside our classroom. We need to come up with agenda or a program in each semester on how to give back to the community. Kasi mandatory yan. Okay? So familiar ba kayo sa CELC? Community Learning Center, Community Outreach Learning Center dati yung COLs. So dito sa College of Education, yung ways natin to give back to the community is we have a preschool. We are managing a preschool. Okay? So since 1989 pa yon, yung mga alumni nung preschool ng College of Education is mga ano na ngayon, mga doktor, mga lawyer, and nagbibigay sila ng ano, ng sponsorship and donation dun sa preschool na minamanage natin. So kaya kapag may mga audit, may mga accreditation, mataas lagi yung score ng COED sa giving back to the community. Kasi tayo lang yung college na may sariling school sa loob ng college, di ba? Imagine that. Yung mga kinukuha nila yung student teacher is mga nasa third year level na. So yun, meron tayo sariling school sa COED. Though it's just a preschool, but still. Next is have a cause that the students can foster and social responsibility. So ito, possible na in each month meron tayong theme. So for example, for this month is yun nga, let's say environment awareness, or yung pinaka matunog ngayon is of course the um, corruption awareness. So probably next month, magiging theme natin is animal welfare, or next month, magiging theme natin is um, about health conscious or being active. So yon. As a 21st century teacher, we need to have a theme in each month so that we can be able to instill it with our students. Next, show. Yeah. Show students people from around the world. It's like, again, we need to check what are those things that magpakita tayo ng mga TED Talks sa mga estudyante natin for them to know what are those teachers are doing around the world. So ano yung trending ngayon? And of course, use technology. Okay, as a 21st century teacher, we cannot escape technology. Okay? So dati broad lang yan technology, pero ngayon nagre-revolve din sa AI. So sabi nga nila, AI will not replace teachers. But those teachers who don't use AI will be replaced by teachers who are using AI. So wala na talaga. It's already been established that artificial intelligence is a common occurrence in today's era. And next is work. Create lesson where students work with the people around the world on a project. So again, we need to it's like a snail mail project sa English class, 'di ba? Nung mga English subject nyo nung senior high or junior high kayo. Na-experience nyo ba magsulat ng snail mail sa mga friends nyo? Let's say nagsulat kayo via airmail sa mga friends nyo from other provinces. Na-experience nyo na ba 'yun? Hindi pa pinagawa sa inyo yun? Okay, sige, kasi pandemic. Pero yun, para siyang digital version nito. Okay? So we will create a digital proposal, okay, to other group of students or teachers to have a project with them. Okay? So probably in our course, 'di ba? We can collaborate or yeah, meron pa tayong collaborate that we can work with them. Next is capture. Capture what they are learning through photojournalism, videography, or blogging. Okay? So this is what we are enjoying right now. This ano yan, first time in history na lahat ng estudyante ay merong video recorder sa mga bulsa nila. Okay? It's first time in history na nangyari yan. And we are not utilizing it enough. Okay? So na-imagine nyo ba kung gaano kalaki yung power na meron kayo ngayon because of your devices? And we need to utilize that. Okay? We have this seminar in the College of Education where the speaker, ang galing ng strategy ng speaker na yun. Kasi right after every slides, yan, nagdi-discuss siya. Right after every slides, that resource speaker is asking us to blog what we learned from that slide. So let's say nag-explain siya. So sabi niya, okay, labas niyo yung mga phone niyo. Then i-summarize niyo yung natutunan niyo sa slide na yun. So lahat kami, yun, i-explain namin through blogging yung natutunan namin dun sa, in-explain niya dun sa slide na yun. So ganun yung nagiging flow ganun. Kasi ang retention level is nag-i-increase. Kapag nakikinig ka lang kasi, walang interaction. I mean, you are just listening to the resource speaker. Yung retention niya, nasa 10 to 20% lang. But if you use your device to capture what you learn, kaya meron kang resibo, meron kang record of what you learned during that moment. So you can review that and learn from it. Okay? So, yun, yung capture. And ito, become aware of good teachers and contact them. Okay, there is this viral teacher before. Her name is Sabrina Ongkiko. Kilala niyo ba si Sabrina Ongkiko? Nag-ano siya, isa siyang from Atenista siya, Atenista. So, galing siya sa mayamang pamilya, si Sabrina Ongkiko. Then, magdo-doktor sana siya. Pero, pinili niya magturo sa isang public elementary school. Okay? So, si Sabrina Ongkiko, nagturo siya sa Kulyat Elementary School. Ano siya, Atenista siya, pero nagturo siya sa isang public elementary school. Then, doon niya nakita yung totoong kalagayan ng mga pampublikong guro sa Pilipinas. Okay? Kung paano sila ka-underpaid and ka-overwork. Doon niya rin shinare yung mga experience niya sa mga co-faculty niya na despite of being already in the senior citizen na sila, pero still, they are forcing themselves to learn technology. They are forcing themselves to learn how to use a computer, a laptop, para makasabay sila sa mga estudyante nila. Doon niya rin na experience, may isa siyang co-teacher na everyday sinasabi na magre-resign na siya, pero araw-araw pa rin pumapasok para magturo. So marami siyang realization and takeaways on why the educational system in our country is like this. Yun nga. Yun, napakaganda ng TED Talk ni Sabrina Ongkiko. I suggest you watch that. It's a TEDx talk and about the experience of becoming a teacher. So yeah, that's a very good watch. Okay, next is listen. Listen to experiences and people around you. Okay? So, ganito yan, class. Marami tayong area dito sa TLE. Di ba? Meron tayong ICT, meron tayong industrial arts, meron tayong graphic arts, meron tayong health economics, meron tayong electricity, meron tayong cosmetology, or even agri-fishery. Marami tayong area. Okay? And it's a missed opportunity if we don't figure out who is somehow expert on that field. Not necessarily expert, but very familiar on that field. So let's say yung topic natin ngayon, topic nyo as a TLE teacher is about, let's say, delicacies, okay? Different delicacies from the province. Then isa pala sa mga estudyante nyo is meron silang a small business that's related to delicacies. Then hindi mo na solicit, okay, yung knowledge niya about that topic. Kasi you did not give that student a chance to listen for you guys to listen to that students. Okay? So we need to let the students talk sometimes. Okay? So that they can share their knowledge about that area. So for example, ang topic natin is about robotics. Then may isa pala sa mga classmate nyo is nagko-compete in the field of robotics. But we did not provide that student an opportunity to share um, his knowledge to the class. So it's one big missed opportunity. That's why we need to learn to listen to our students. Okay? Next is create. Teach students how to think outside the box. Okay? Let them create. That's why related dyan yung gagawin nyo later. Okay? So, yung activity nyo is actually create. Magke-create kayo. Now, tell me class, ano yung memorable creation nyo when you are in junior high school? Ako, I remember, memorable experience ko doon is yung paggawa ng mosaic gamit ng eggshells. Have you experienced doing that? No? Thumbs up nga kung may nakagawa ng mosaic gamit ang eggshells. Or hindi nyo na-experience yun kasi pandemic. Okay, yeah, very good. Marami. And also, gumawa kami noon ng puppet. Yeah, pinagawa kami ng puppet noon. Yung Muppet teacher namin. Puppet. Then, ano pa ba yung mga pinagawa sa amin? Well, pinagawa kami ng mayonnaise. Pinagawa kami ng sabon. Okay? So, pinagawa ba kayo ng mayonnaise ng ano nyo? Na chemistry teacher nyo? Thumbs up nga. Mayonnaise. Yeah, madali lang gumawa ng mayonnaise, di ba? Mantika lang yun tsaka egg. And also, sabon. How about sabon? Thumbs up nga, pinagawa. Yeah. So, create. We need to create. We need to use our hands. Kaya dito class sa print production natin. Expect nyo na marami tayong gagawin na ano. It involves manipulation using our hands. So, that's why possible na yun, kailangan yung mag-invest sa mga materials. Kasi magagamit nyo naman siya pag makikip nyo siya once you finish this course. Of course, magagamit nyo rin siya sa pag nag-practice teaching na kayo. Okay? Kasi, di ba, imagine nyo naman kung lahat ng gagawin natin sa pre-production is theoretical lang, walang hands-on. Gusto nyo ba yun? So, hindi ka kayo gagastos, pero anong matututunan nyo sa theoretical approach, di ba? Na walang hands-on. So, kailangan nyo talaga ng hands-on. But we will make sure that we will minimize your gastos in this subject. Yung pre-production kasi may mga kailangan kayong bilhin. Okay? So aside from minimizing your gastos, we will also pair you up with your classmates para maghati kayo sa mga materials para mas, mas bearable yung pagbili nyo ng mga materials. So yeah, kailangan nyo talaga mag-create dito sa subject na to. Then invent. Let students invent new ways to solve old problems. Ang nakakalungkot class kasi ay there is this, yung mga patent and copyrighted materials, mga patent, diba? Sa mga first world country, Japan, US, nag-reach na yan ng mga, nasa millions, nasa million-million na yung patent sa mga first world country. And yung patent lang na naka-file dito sa Pilipinas is nasa ano lang, around 4,000 patents. So just imagine the gap in innovation that we have. In a first world country, their innovation nasa millions na. Pero tayo, it's not even 5,000 yung mga naka-file na patent exclusive to our country. So ganun yung gap sa innovation. Kaya kung meron kayong naiisip na inventions or sa tingin nyo, new ways to solve a problem, you can nurture that and hopefully develop it into a product so we can add innovation to our country. And ano yan kapag merong kang na-invent. So, for example, di ba yung 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 kangkong chips. So it's an innovation. So if you file a patent for that, so you can own the copyright or the patent. May royalty ka dyan. Or there is also this students in SEA. Ginawa nila ng in-extract nila yung methane content ng mga parasite na janitor fish sa Ilog Pasig. Okay, so nanghuli sila ng drum-drum na janitor fish, then pinakuluan nila. Then nung nag-extract, nag-secretes na ng oil, yon highly flammable pala yun. Tapos ginawa nila, dinevelop nila yun as a gasoline coming from a janitor fish. Diba? Yung mga parasites na pakinabangan pa na maging so yung mga ganong bagay, diba? We can nurture those ideas. So for example, alam nyo ba yung pinaghugasan ng bigas? Sino dito yung mga madalas magsaing? Diba? Yung unang hugas. Then, pag sinet aside mo yun, after 1 hour, merong ointment-like substance na magsasettle dun sa bottom ng lagayan. And that is an effective anti-inflammatory. So kapag sinet aside mo yun, then yun, tinapon mo na yung tubig, yung parang ointment-like na yun, pag nilagay mo siya sa mukha mo, pag may mga tagyawat ka, syempre, namabaga yung tagyawat mo, di ba? Kapag natuyo yung na yun, yung ointment na yun, matutuyo din yung tagyawat mo. So anti-inflammatory siya. So yun, possible siya ma-develop as alternative, natural way na pang-pakinis ng mukha. Okay? So, di ba? Wala pang gastos. So, yun. If someone would actually invest to that, so yun nga, ang nakakalungkot lang kasi is the innovation is not fully supported by the government. I mean, the support is pahirapan. Something like that. Okay? So, you might as well, our inventors will go to other countries and develop it there. So the credit is for them, not on our country. And isa pa, kapag maganda dito sa kapag may na copyright ka na innovation, automatic promoted ka. So for example, teacher 1 yung rank mo, di ba? Then meron ka na invent na 5 products na file mo as patent. So, kada isang product, 1 step higher promotion yun. So, magiging teacher 2, teacher 3, teacher 4, master teacher 1 ka kaagad, di ba? 5 times yung jump mo kapag marami kang invention. So, that's invent. So, nakakailan na tayo? 3, 6, 9, 12. Hindi pa tayo nangangalahati. Okay, so be aware that students may know more about the technology. Okay, naniniwala ba kayo, class, na kayo, Gen Z kayo, di ba? So yung mga possible students nyo is mga Gen Alpha. Di ba? So yung mga Gen Alpha, sa tingin nyo, may chance ba na mas magaling sila sa inyo sa technology? Yes, there is a possibility na mas magaling sila sa technology sa inyo. Kasi ako, millennial ako, kayo Gen Z. So, mas magaling din kayo sa technology in some area. Kasi ano kayo, digital native. Okay? Possible na pag teacher na kayo, yung mga smart glasses is very affordable. So, normal occurrence na lang yung mga smart glasses. So, habang nagdi-discuss kayo, kino-cross-check na pala kayo ng mga estudyante nyo using their smart glasses. So, ngayon pa nga lang, di ba? So, sa loob kayo ng classroom, di-discuss si teacher, kayo mga Gen Z, may smartwatches kayo. Then, may voice recognition. So real time habang nagsasalita si teacher, nag-register din yung sinasabi ni teacher sa smartwatch mo. Then kino-cross-check mo na. Naka-integrate si ChatGPT kung tama ba yung pinagsasabi ni teacher. So ganun lang kabilis ngayon yung technology. It's like malingat ka lang ng saglit. Okay? Hindi ka na makakahabol. Parang ganun yung nangyayari ngayon, technologically speaking. And yeah, incorporate the parent and family via new technology. Ito, more on sa learning management system to, LMS. Are you using LMS class? Have you experienced using learning management system? Thumbs up nga. If yes, okay. So, ang learning management system, meron siyang tatlong categories. Pwede siya sa student, sa teacher, sa administration, at may isa pa pala. Yun yung sa parents. So, para siyang social media but in the context of school settings. Okay? So, yung mga parents, ano lang sila, meron silang read-only access. So, hindi naman sila makakapag join ng mga classes. Pero makikita nila yung mga progress. Meron silang read-only access. So for that, LMS is for teacher, for students, for admin, and for parents. So that's one way to involve the teacher. Ito, be willing to evolve as learning strategies and technology evolves. Okay? Very relevant tong evolve na to. Kasi nung pandemic, may mga grupo ng faculty members sa COED. Binigyan sila ng choice. Sabi nila, ano, kaya nyo bang mag-online class or mag-early retirement kayo? Yun. They choose the early retirement. Kasi I think masyado na silang senior na kasi sila. So I think it's too much for them to still push in becoming a uh, yun nga sa pandemic pag online class. So marami sila sa kanila nag-early retirement kasi hindi na nila kaya mag-evolve. Pero kayo, so syempre, mga Gen Z future teachers kayo and you have no choice but to evolve. For example, are you familiar with the augmented reality technology or the AR? Who's familiar with AR? Augmented reality. It's like the seamless integration of physical and digital world. Okay? So, for example, yung smartphone niyo, di ba? Pag tinutok nyo siya sa isang, let's say, infographics, may lalabas sa phone niyo. So, it's like the Pokemon Go, di ba? Yung Pokemon Go, yung mga Pokemon nasa real world sila, pero nasa digital screen mo siya. So, merong merge ng physical and digital space. So yun yung augmented reality. And I can see the future in education where augmented reality will become mandatory in the school. Okay? So, yeah, it's like AR is like the middle in between the real world and the virtual reality. So, nasa gitna siya. Sa VR kasi, totally, yung surroundings mo, puro digital. Okay? Yun yung VR. Pero yung AR, pag tumingin ka sa surroundings mo, yun pa din nakikita mo. may mga glimpses lang na digital. So yun yung augmented reality. Okay? So as I mentioned, there will be a time na magiging mandatory yung AR sa loob ng classroom. Okay? Paano? Ganito yan. Ang mga smart glasses, as mentioned, magiging normal occurrence na lang yan sa mga classroom. Okay? Smart glasses. Then, hassle pa gamitin yung AR ngayon kasi itututok mo pa yung cellphone mo. Di ba? So, for example, may evacuation plan sa classroom. Di ba? May evacuation plan. Nakikita nyo ba yung mga evacuation plan sa mga classroom? Di ba meron? So kapag in-integrate mo yung augmented reality sa evacuation plan, itututok mo yung cellphone mo, then may lalabas sa cellphone mo na it's like a movement. Oh, so this is where you are and this is where you need to go during disaster. So gano'n, papakita mo. So hassle siya gamitin. Pero kapag meron kang smart glasses, okay, titingnan mo lang yung infographics na yon, na evacuation plan malapit sa pinto. Then lalabas na kagad doon yung evacuation plan. So it's like yung sa Iron Man na makikita mo kagad, o nandito ka, so this is where you need to go in case of earthquake. So seamless na integration. So that technology exists already in the medical field. Okay? Kasi sila lang yung nakaka-afford nun sa ngayon. So imagine dati, kailangan nyo pa ng mga doktor, pag nagda-dissect sila, kailangan pa nilang bumili ng cadaver or ng cadaver, dead body sa mga punerarya para i-dissect yung mga doktor. Ganun. Pero because of augmented reality, they can dissect a body using the augmented reality. Okay? So, yun na yung technology na ginagawa nila. So, applicable na siya. Nangyayari na siya sa medical field. Now, mangyayari rin siya, magkakaroon ng total rollout niyan sa education in the near future. We will see it in our lifetime. Na kayo, TLE kayo, di ba? Napunta kayo sa field ng automotive. So, ikaw, automotive teacher ka, then lahat ng estudyante mo naka-smart glasses, including you, and you are dissecting the actual a car inside your classroom using your smart glasses. So can you imagine the opportunity there? Na-imagine nyo ba na lahat ng estudyante nyo naka-smart glasses, then ikaw din, then you are dissecting the engine of a car on your subject, which is the automotive. Okay, so it will happen. Now, let's say you are a teacher and you refuse to use that technology. Diba? So nagpa-meeting yung head teacher nyo. Okay, merong DepEd memorandum na starting 2040 school year, lahat ng classroom kailangan ng gumamit ng smart glasses. Lahat ng estudyante kailangan na mag-smart glasses. Then yung iba sa inyo, ayoko yan. Hindi pwede yan. So syempre, you refuse to evolve as a teacher, di ba? So ayaw mo. So yun, hindi pagiging 21st century teacher kapag nag-refuse ka na i-embrace yung technology na yan. Okay, so it will happen na you need to evolve as a teacher. So next is plan B. Yon, have a plan B if the technology fails. So as a 21st century teacher also, you will need to have a plan B. That's why you need to, related dito yung practice. Practice using technology before the class begins. So kayo class, meron kayong teaching demo. Diba? Mga third year na kayo. So soon, probably next SEM, starting na yung mga teaching demo nyo. Then, hindi nyo pwedeng gawing excuse yung sabihin nyo sa prof nyo, Sir, hindi po ako makakapag-demo ngayon kasi na-corrupt po yung PowerPoint ko. Okay? So, you should always have a plan B. Kapag may PowerPoint ka, hindi ka magre-rely sa isang flash drive. Isisend mo siya sa cellphone mo, isisend mo siya sa messenger mo, sa email mo, para walang kawala. nakapag teaching demo mo na, yung files mo na kakailanganin is hindi makokorrupt. Okay? And also, as a 21st century teacher, dapat lahat ng mga adapter, okay, is alam mo na paganahin. So alam mo na pala na VGA yung laptop mo, then naka-HDMI yung projector, then hindi ka pa nag-ready ng VGA to HDMI adapter. So it's on you. Ikaw yung may kasalanan nun kasi hindi ka nagiging 21st century teacher pag ganun. Okay? So this is just things that should happen in a 21st century classroom. Next is team up. Create teaching and learning teams within your class. One group, it's possible na you divide the class, then you teach the other one certain concept, and you teach the other half another concept, and they will be the one to teach each other what you taught them. Okay? So are you getting it, class? Parang it's like, I'll teach you this and I'll teach you that, and you guys teach them that, and you guys teach them that. Okay, so in a way, ang life hack kasi, class, parang ganito. Kung gusto nyong matutunan yung isang bagay, pag-aralan nyo siya as if ituturo nyo. Para yung retention is mataas. Kasi 'di ba kung gusto mo pag-aralan yung isang bagay, pag-aralan mo siya as if ituturo mo siya. Kapag ganun yung approach mo, matututunan mo talaga kasi wala kang choice kundi pag-aralan kasi ituturo mo siya. So ganun yung logic behind this. If you want to learn something, learn it as if you are going to teach it. Next is arts. Okay, integrate arts and allow students to express themselves in different ways. So yon, gagawin natin yan. Risk, take risks by trying something. Okay, so I need your participation in this one. Can you remember one of your teachers taking risk para lang matuto kayo? May naalala ba kayong instances? Kasi class, kapag education ka, magpa-flashback sa'yo yung mga pinagagawa ng mga teacher mo. Totoo yung class. Nung naging teacher ako, naalala ko yung mga pinagagawa ng mga teacher ko sa loob ng classroom, mga professor ko, naalala ko ano yung pinagagawa nila. Kasi magiging teacher ka na din. So, share to us what is your experience where one of your teachers risk something para lang matuto kayo. Okay? Probably nagpadala siya ng... Okay, so si Janelle.
Hello po, sir. Naalala ko po dati nung junior high ako, may isa po akong science teacher na nirisk po na ipagamit sa amin yung microscope po. Like per table po, binigyan niya po kami ng tag-iisa per table, tapos grinop niya po kami. Tapos sabi niya lang sa amin, ingatan lang namin kasi as long as na iniingatan namin yun, magagamit namin siya hanggang sa masira rather than na iniimbak lang ng school na hinahayaang naka-display lang. Sayang po yung ininvest ng school. Yun lang po.
Okay, so yes, very good example yan, no? Tama. Kasi may mga instances talaga na takot yung mga teacher na gamitin yung mga materials kasi mako-compromise, baka masira pag bayarin pa sila. Pero yun, it's a big risk. If you are in a public high school, then sa buong school nyo, isa lang yung microscope. So, syempre, as a teacher, kakabahan ka pag pinagamit mo yun. Pero, that is necessary. Kailangan yung risk na yun para matuto yung mga estudyante. So, isa rin yun sa highlight nung high school life ko. Yung nakasilip ako sa microscope. Nakita ko yung mga single-celled organisms. As in, amazed na amazed talaga ako. Second year high school ako ng biology. So, nung pinakita sa amin yun, and yun, na gumagalaw. So, isa yun sa mga highlights. Paano na lang kung hindi nag-risk yung biology teacher ko, di ba? It's a big missed opportunity. Yeah, that's a good example. Anyone? Aside from Janelle, yes, Riza?
Sir, sa amin naman po, grade 12, may subject po kasi kami na biology din po. So, sa ibang school po kasi, bawal daw po mag-dissect ng palaka. Since delikado daw po siya, ganito ganyan. Pero yung bagong biology teacher po namin is ni-risk na ma-experience po namin na mag-dissect ng palaka. Yung sabi na po na parang related po yung anatomy ng tao sa kanang palaka. Sabi parang same lang daw po. So, para ma-experience daw po namin, in case daw po na gusto namin maging teacher nurse, teacher doctor, so that may background na po kami sa pagdalay. Yun lang po.
Yes. That's a good example. Kudos to your teacher. Yes, JC?
Ano po, sir? Nung ano po ako, ng high school po ako, sir. Meron po kasi kaming, ano, sir, sa science po namin, bali, ano po siya, parang, sa physics po ata, nakalimutan ko na po kung what subject po. Pero, parang sa school po kasi namin, bawal po kaming mag-field trip, ganun. Kahit naman po, basta yung ano po ng curriculum, sir, bawal po mag-field trip, ganyan po. Tapos, parang sabi niya po, hindi niya daw po madi-discuss talaga yung ano namin, yung lesson namin nang hindi niya na ipapakita sa amin, like nang parang hindi naman, kung hindi man po actual, parang na visually ganyan. Tapos parang nagkaroon po siya ng idea, nag-ask po siya if want po namin makapunta sa mga planetarium, ganun po. Tapos nung inas niya po kami, parang bawal po yun eh, ganun. Nag-decide po kami yung buong classroom po na ano, na magano po, magkasundo po sa isang bagay, no. Pumunta po kami ng planetarium, kasama po yung teacher namin na yun. Tapos ayun po, sir, worth it po kasi nakaano po kami, nakapag-planetarium po kami with Sir Edmund Rosales po. Yung ano, yung isang astronomer po, sir. Tapos sobrang ganda po ng experience, so sobrang dami po namin natutunan po. Yun lang po.
It's a very nice story, JC. So yeah, very good. Kudos to your teacher also. And there is also one incident. Ano to eh, in a movie, Teacher's Diary. Napanood niyo ba yung movie na yun? Teacher's Diary. It's a Thai movie. So may scene doon na yung mga klase, yung klase niya, mga elementary yun, na pumunta sila sa swimming pool and doon niya in-explain yung concept ng buoyancy, paglutang ng mga bagay-bagay. Then sinugod siya ng assistant principal. Ay, principal pala, principal. Then pinagalitan siya. Sabi niya, alam mo ba na baka malunod yung mga estudyante mo dyan? Basta yun, pinagalitan talaga. Sinabon siya. Then, sabi niya, she is teaching the concept of buoyancy to the students, and this is the best way for them to learn that concept. So, it's a risk that is needed in teaching. So, if you are taking a risk, it only means that you are a certified 21st century teacher. Next is wing it. Be willing to throw the lesson out if the class is moving in a better direction. So sometimes, di ba, kailangan mo, as a teacher, as a 21st century teacher, you need to learn how to read the room. What does it mean? It means that you need to gauge pulso ng masa, di ba? Yung mga estudyante mo ba, ano ba yung meron sila at the moment? Na-anxious ba sila? Na ready ba sila matuto, or there is a social event that is too strong to ignore, something like that, diba? So ano ba yung mga nangyari dati? Ayun, dati kasi nung estudyante ako, parang yung COVID namin dati is yung AH1N1. Yun, it's like our COVID. Na-suspend din ng 2 weeks yung klase nun. Pero saglit lang. Yung AH1N1, para rin siyang COVID. So yun, nung nasa classroom kami, parang lahat ng estudyante, hindi pa officially suspended yung klase, pero parang wala na talaga sa mood yung mga estudyante kasi na-anxious na sila dun sa event na yun. So yun, yung professor namin, parang ano, hindi na din siya nagturo. Parang sabi niya, okay, so I think we'll just have to chill out for the day kasi yun nga, we're just almost waiting for the announcement. Pero wala namang nangyaring ano, yung AH1N1 virus kasi, namamatay siya sa init. And yung panahon na yon, bago ka makapunta sa main building, maglalakad ka muna sa papuntang Teresa, di ba? Tapos maglalakad ka pa sa catwalk para makapunta sa main building. So isa yung mga yung PUP sa hindi na tabla ng AH1N1 kasi nga before makapunta yung estudyante sa main building, na-filter na siya nung init sa Teresa, sa catwalk, papunta sa main building. So yon, pero na-suspend pa rin yung klase namin for almost 2 weeks. So yon, it's wing it. You need to learn the room, learn to read the room. So parang ano yan, sa online class natin, di ba? Kapag nag-post ako ng klase, okay, here is what our class schedule. Then walang nagre-react dun sa pinost ko. So you are giving me an impression na ayaw nyong magklase. So it's one way of reading the room, di ba? So kapag nag-post ako ng, okay, let's meet 4:30 p.m. Then tahimik lang lahat, walang nagre-react. Then it means that you are not ready to learn. Next is the RRR. The RRR is the common core, is the reading, writing, and arithmetic. Arithmetic yan. So as a 21st century teacher, dapat hindi ka na nalilito sa mga simple grammar rule. Di ba? Yung your and your, yung it's and its na may apostrophe, or yung the there, and there, di ba? The difference between that. You should not be confused about that because yun yung basics eh. As a 21st century teacher, you should not be confused with all those basic things. So for example, pupunta ka sa mall, 800 pesos, 10% off. O ilan yung 10% ng 800? So automatic dapat makakompute mo na yun sa utak mo na hindi ka na mag-pull up ng calculator, di ba? Yung mga ganong bagay kasi basic math, basic grammar rule, as a 21st century teacher, you should be, know that by heart. So yon, that's the common core. Then, yon, collaborate. Collaborate with teachers outside your discipline. I experienced this before. Meron kasing subject na translation yung mga English major sa co-ed. Di ba? Meron tayong Bachelor and Secondary Education major in English sa College of Education. Meron silang subject na translation. Tropa ko yung nagtuturo nun. Then sabi niya, uy, di ba ano ka? Marunong ka mag-Cebuano. Sabi niya, pwede ka bang mag-talk sa estudyante ko sa translation na about, mga common words sa Cebuano na nakaka-confuse sa mga Tagalog. Sabi ko, naman, pwede. So yun, nag-discuss ako sa mga third year secondary education, English major sa COED about the translation. Kasi may mga certain words. For example, na nakakatawa sa Cebuano and sa Tagalog is yung word na langgam. Diba? Sino dito yung nakakaintindi ng Cebuano? Thumbs up nga, guys. Para alam po yung context. Wala? Okay. Yung langgam kasi sa Cebu is anything that fly or anything that moves. I mean, langgam is like a bird, diba? Anything vaguely moving is like, yun yung langgam sa amin. Then, sa Tagalog, of course, langgam is ants. Kapag sumigaw ka ng langgam sa Mindanao, usually people will look up. But when you shout langgam sa dito sa Manila, tititingin sa baba yung mga tao. So that's the difference between, diba, langgam sa Mindanao and langgam dito sa Manila. So marami pa yun eh. Marami pang mga instances na yun. Yung word na, medyo ano tong word na to, controversial. Pag sinabihan ka nagpunta ka sa Mindanao, then sinabihan ka ng nindot, di ba parang negative yung connotation sa Tagalog, yung word na nindot. So ano yung nindot sa Bisaya, sa Cebuano? Anyone? Nindot, yung mga nakakaintindi. What does it mean? So pag napunta ka sa Mindanao, sinabihan ka, alam mo, nindot ka. Yun! So sa Manila kasi para siyang hindot, di ba? Parang offensive. Pero pag napunta ka sa Mindanao, sinabihan ka ng nindot, dapat hindi ka ma-offend. Dapat magpasalamat ka pa. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, cute ka. So yun yung mga certain talk na binigay ko dun sa mga English major, dun sa subject nila na translation. So, and also yan, yung buto, di ba? Sa Mindanao, it's a male private part. And also yung word na libog, di ba? So sa Manila, we all know what does it mean. Pero sa Cebuano, yung libog is confused. So, kaya pag may narinig ka sa, yes, yung burat is lasing na sa Bicol, di ba? So, yun yung mga bagay na
Opo.
yun. And, so yun, kailangan kasi should be collaboration. So, di ba, it's a missed opportunity if that teacher did not collaborate with me about the talk about yung Cebuano and Tagalog. So it's a missed opportunity for them. Yun, tama, bangga. Sa bangga kasi para. And so kuya, bangga lang. Boom, aksidente kayo. Sa bangga kasi, yun yung para nila. Sa Cebu naman, lugar lang yan. Lugar lang, yan, tama yan. So, yung bangga, di ba? It's nakakatuwa pag-usapan yung mga translation. Yun. Meron kasi akong pinsan na from Mindanao. Nag-OJT siya sa GMA dito sa Manila. Then, hindi niya alam kung ano yung para. Kasi yung lugar lang, di naman naintindihan ng teacher. Sabi niya sa driver, pakihinto ang sasakyan sapagkat kami ay bababa. Ganun talaga yung sinabi niya sa jeepney driver. Kasi hindi niya alam kung paano pahintuin yung jeep. Kaya ang haba ng litanya niya. Well, tama naman yung sinabi niya, pero usually kasi hindi naman sinasabi ng mga Tagalog. Sabi niya, pakihinto ang sasakyan sapagkat kami ay bababa. O, di ba? So, yun. It's a cute story. So there, collaborate, yun, important one. And so possible na next semester kasi meron kayong audio production. So audio production, one of our topics there is pagdi-DJ. So we can invite a DJ to give us lesson or dry run about the topic. Okay, next is design. Let the students design the lesson. Okay, yung natututunan kasi ng mga estudyante is like nakadepende sa understanding ng teacher. Nai-gets nyo ba, guys? Let's say there is a lesson. Yung lesson na yun, pag-aaralan nyo ng teacher. And ang matututunan ng mga estudyante is depende dun sa natutunan ng teacher. And yung teacher naman, hindi siya all-knowing. May mga bagay din siya na nami-miss, di ba? So, I mean, may mga bagay din siya na hindi niya na-experience, pero na-experience pala ng mga estudyante. So, as a 21st century teacher, you should learn how to solicit answers from your students para mag-flourish yung discussion. Okay? So, kayo naman, mga estudyante, dapat din hindi kayo timid magbigay ng mga input nyo. So, very good. I appreciate yung mga nagbibigay ng comments sa chat box para mag-flourish yung discussion natin. Okay? And there. Meron akong ano dyan story sa let the students hold the controller. So, parang controller na. Ito naman literally. Dati kasi meron kaming DVD player na merong family computer, di ba? Sinong nakakaalam nung mga bata pa, hindi nyo na yata naabutan yun. Basta may DVD player na may family computer na sinusuksukan. Nilalaro ka Mario, Contra, di ba? Okay. So for the longest time, nilalaro namin yun ng mga nilalaro ko, ako lang mag-isa naglalaro. Tapos, one time, nilaro siya ng mga pinsan ko. And sobrang shock ako. Kasi meron palang page 2 yun. Meron palang page 3, page 4. So all this time, nilalaro ko lang page 1, hindi ko alam may page 2 pala. So paano kung hindi yun hinawakan ng mga pinsan ko? All this time, hindi ko malalaman na mayroon palang second page yun. Doon lang ako paikot-ikot sa page 1. So yun, that's why it's a manifestation of sometimes you need to share, let them interpret the lesson. That's the term. You need to let your students interpret the lesson. Yeah. So yun. You should always let the opportunity for your students to talk. Yeah. Also, next is the social media. Be social. Okay. So be social. As a 21st century teacher, okay, hindi na natin matatakasan yung presence ng social media. Okay, so parang medyo hermit ka na kapag wala kang interaction through social media as a 21st century teacher. So sa PinIt naman, doing through Pinterest, kasi may mga usually mga babae to, mahilig silang yung mga sa aesthetic, di ba? Aesthetic na design. So kumukuha sila ng idea sa Pinterest. May mga nag-visit ba sa inyo sa Pinterest, guys? I think sa Instagram nila kayo kumukuha ng idea eh. Yeah. And lastly, yung game. Add a gaming element to your classroom. Allow students to play, fail, and enjoy learning. That's why, yung nga natin, di ba? Ginagamify natin, gamification, kahit yung simple introduce yourself, okay, icebreaker activity, ginagamify natin para mas engaging sa mga estudyante. So as a teacher, you also need to learn how to gamify, okay? Or to convert a simple task into gamification. Then meron pa yung related sa gamification is yung it's like ang tawag doon yung term sa gaming na leaderboard. So yun. The leaderboard, 'di ba sa gaming merong leaderboard na highest score. So instead of calling the top 10, pwedeng for this month's leaderboard, pwede nyong exchange yung mga wordings. Instead of saying top 10, sabi mong leaderboard. Instead of saying assignment, pwede nyo sabihin quest. Instead of saying grade, you can say high score. So there. That is more engaging to the Gen Z, especially kapag mga Gen Alpha na kayo. So there, that is the 27 ways to become a 21st century teacher. So ano yung activity natin? Ang activity natin is very simple. Ito yung rubric ng activity natin. Gagawa lang kayo, di ba 27 yun? 27 ways yun. Gagawa nyo lang siya ng doodle. Got it? Doodle where it shows all the 27 ways to become a 21st century teacher. For example, the word evolve. ano yung visual representation ng evolve? It's like pwedeng yung theory of evolution ni Charles Darwin, pwede yun. That's one. Or pwedeng Pokeball kasi evolve niya, di ba? So, pwedeng si Pikachu to Raichu, evolve eh. So, yun. That may visual representation. Yung each of the 27 ways. Pag think, ano yung visual representation niya sa ng word na think? Pwedeng brain, pwedeng light bulb, pwedeng aha moment. Okay? Are you getting it, class? So, yun yung graded activity nyo. Gagawa nyo siya ng doodle, yung 27 ways. So, ang impact nung makakakita nung doodle nyo. Okay. Ang interpretation ko ng doodle na to is modern teacher, kahit hindi nyo sabihin yung word na 21st century teacher, pero yung impact ng doodle nyo, it seems like someone who is futuristic, advanced, okay, teacher. So, ganun yung impact. So, pwedeng doodle. Kayo na bahala mag-design, di ba? Pwedeng colored, pwedeng... Pero, dapat, class, manual nyo siya isusulat. Hindi pwede digital arts. Ilalagay nyo siya sa bond paper, sa short bond paper, okay? To be submitted on our first day of face-to-face meeting. So, sa ano pa naman yun? You have 2 weeks to do that. Okay? So, ano siya? Hard copy. Yung doodle na yun. So, ito yung simple rubric ng doodle activity. Okay. So, there, 40% accuracy. So, sinunod nyo ba yung instruction ko? Ano ba yon? 21st century teacher ba yon? Nilagay nyo ba lahat ng 27 ways? Dinoodle nyo ba lahat ng 27 na yon? Yun yung accuracy. Okay? Next is the proficiency. How pleasant is your drawing? Okay? How proficient you are in doodling? Okay? Are the color harmonizing? So, yun yung proficiency. Then yung X factor is X factor na eh, 'di ba? Yung X doon sa X factor is undescribable. It's like something very unique to your output. Okay? So, ano ba yung X factor? Pwedeng QR code lang yung isubmit, 'di ba? Okay, sir, ito yung QR code. Scan mo yan, makikita mo yung doodle ko. Yan, pwede yun. Or pwedeng pwedeng wag na kayo mag-submit, di ba? Sabi mo, sir, na embody ko na yung 21st century teacher. Ako na mismo yun, hindi na ako magsasubmit. Sabi ko, okay, perfect. 100 ka sa 20%, kuha mo lahat ng X factor. Pero wala kang accuracy tsaka proficiency. Okay, di ba? So, perfect ka sa X factor kasi na-embody mo na eh. Ikaw na yun eh. Pero wala kang accuracy and proficiency. So, yun. Bagsak ka pa din. So, X factor is you need to come up with your own how you will submit that. Okay? So, yun lang naman ang ating first activity. So, you still have 2 weeks to do that. And so there. Ano pa ba? May tanong ba kayo? Yun lang. Actually, let's call it a day. Awit na yung pangako kasi 9 hours pala yung klase ko today. Sorry. Okay, so if you don't have any question, you can now open your webcam and let's take a class picture. First slide. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Sorry. Second slide. And smile. Smile. Okay. So, goodbye everyone. And
So,
see
pwede
you
po
again.
pasan ng rubrics po sa GC.
Sige.
Salamat po.
Magkikita ulit tayo sa next week, malamang.
Thank you po, sir.
Sige, goodbye everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po, sir.